Hello. I really should remember which screen I'm like preparing for. There we go. That's the one I wanted. All right. Welcome in. Yeah, it's about a good time to start streaming. We'll be live for a couple hours. Um, just like yesterday. I think I started around the same time, so today we'll also run for about it's 11, 12, 1, 2 for about 3 hours. So if you're looking for someone to hang out with for the next 3 hours, then welcome. Settle in. I do have a video for us to react to today. It is going to be okay, it's economic. That's the genre category. No, that's not a genre. It's documentarian is the genre. It is a PBS video, so that should be, they're usually really well done. I watch their things for fun frequently, so I'm looking forward to it. And then just on the side, I'm also going to be crocheting. Nothing exciting, but just so you know. I am currently working on a scarf, and it is rolled up. But you can see pretty well because of the light coming from that corner. So it's rolled up, and it's just a black scarf for my boyfriend. And so that's what I'll be crocheting while we watch this video. So yeah, I should have it already loaded up. It's right then and there. We'll move my camera out of the way. Get nice and small. Down here I think is good. And I hope everyone has been having a good day or a good morning. I had a good day, a tired day, but a good one nonetheless. So I'm happy to just hang out and chill. Okay, everything should be fine. So I hope everything is running great. So let's watch this.
Tonight on Frontline, long before the economic meltdown.
Originally aired in October 2009. That's so interesting. Oh, because it was in 2008. Before the Great Recession. Let me see. Long before the economic meltdown in the U.S. that led to the Great Recession, one woman tried to raise the alarm about the threat to the financial system. Interesting. Okay.
The story of one woman who tried to long before the economic meltdown. The story of one woman who tried to warn about the threat to the financial system.
She saw something that people either had not seen or refused to see.
Pumpkin. Sorry, my cat is now on of it. And now he's sitting on the cable.
Okay. And she tried to sound the warning. Nobody listened.
What are you trying to protect?
We're trying to protect the money of the American public.
I was told that she was irascible, difficult, stubborn, unreasonable.
Before the toxic assets poisoned the economy, she warned of their danger.
And that made her the enemy of a very, very large number of people.
She would fight an epic battle with one of the most powerful men in Washington.
He was, as George Bush put it at the time, a rock star.
And it got pretty nasty pretty quickly.
Greenspan turns to her, she turns to him. His face is red, and he's clearly quite upset.
A story from inside the highest levels of the Clinton administration.
They were all part of a very concerted effort to shut her up and to shut her down. And they did, in fact, shut her up and shut her down.
Tonight on Frontline, Alan Greenspan, Brooks Lee Born, and The Warning. In 2005, economic cheerleaders dominated the airwaves.
I'm betting on Microsoft. Boom, let's get another. That stock is not done.
Times were good. Alan Greenspan ruled the economy.
When you can get a 3.7% yield with upside, that's a lot better than getting a 3.7% yield.
For context, in 2005, I was 8 years old. So all of this will be literal news to me. But that's also why I want to watch it, because it's interesting. And as someone who wants to be more like politically aware, I think, and also I just find economics a genuinely fascinating subject. I think it's the most interesting to hear about things that are so recent you were alive. There's a little jumping spider on the corner. It's not harming anyone. It's the most fascinating when, it's things that happened while you were alive, but you were a child, so like you didn't know what was happening, as you shouldn't. But like they're recent enough that they're probably relevant to whatever situation you're living through currently as an adult. And so definitely worth a revisit.
Washington's hands-off attitude toward Wall Street seemed to be paying off.
So now it's all systems go between now and the end of the year. I recommend a buy on it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it was time for a celebration.
Recipients, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Alan Greenspan is one of the most admired and influential economists in our nation's history.
The nation's highest civilian honor was bestowed on the man many called the Wizard.
Lame.
More than one story was written about Alan Greenspan as the Wizard, the man behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz.
Alan was a great wizard.
I'm sorry, but like that does not bode well, because the whole point of it is that he was lying to everyone and was like manipulating the situation for his own benefit. He didn't actually, like, he wasn't an actual wizard. Okay.
No one understood what he said, but he said it in such a way that everybody bought it.
What's going to happen when all of this stimulation starts to decline?
Everybody hung on every word.
Congressman, it depends on what is going on in the world generally.
The Wizard, the man behind the curtain who mumbled in ways that ordinary people couldn't understand, but who appeared to be controlling absolutely everything.
Then we're going to get an exceptionally large amount of fiscal stimulus, which we're not going to want.
Very few people wanted to take him on or challenge him because he knew so much more than they did. And if he didn't, he certainly appeared to.
In his 18 years as Fed chairman, he applied those
5 presidents had watched Alan Greenspan work his magic. It started back in the Ford administration.
Alan Greenspan was a financial consultant who was hired by Jerry Ford, first to be head of his Council of Economic Advisors in the 70s.
But Alan Greenspan was not your stereotypical economist.
He was also very charming and a man about Washington.
He played jazz clarinet, had made himself rich on Wall Street, and he had embraced an unusual political guru,
challenging the moral code of altruism.
the libertarian philosopher Ayn Rand.
Everybody is enslaved to everybody.
Greenspan is a disciple. She is the great champion of government as a destructive force that just gets in the way.
Mike Wallace, Ayn Rand, 225-1.
I've practiced it all my life.
Pumpkin, you're blocking my view. I need to move my cat. Come on, buddy. I know, honey. He wants to be a part of this. Look. Which I understand, but he's literally in the way. I'm sorry, honey. You want to sit there? Hey, guys. No? Okay. You can be on my lap, but you can't be on the desk. Those are the rules.
Capsulize your philosophy.
Greenspan.
I would want to wonder like why, right? Especially if people were listening to her. What was the name?
And talked about Rand in
Ayn Rand. Let me see. I'm curious. Because that feels like a pretty extreme opinion to have, no? What's the name again? Ayn Rand. Well, she was a writer and philosopher, so... And I'd say not an economist, however, it's not like our economists did much better, apparently. Oh. Let's check out her wiki. Alice O'Connor, better known by her pen name, Ayn Rand, was a Russian-American writer and philosopher. She is known for her fiction and for developing a philosophical system which she named Objectivism. Objectivism is a philosophical system named and developed by Russian-American writer and philosopher Ayn Rand. She described it as a concept of man as a heroic being with his own happiness as the moral purpose of his life, with productive achievement as his noblest activity, and reason as his only absolute. Objectivism's main tenets are that reality exists independently of consciousness, that human beings have direct contact with reality through sense perception, that one can attain objective knowledge from perception through the process of concept formation and inductive logic, okay, I'm bored. Born and educated in Russia, she moved to the United States in 1926 after 2 early novels that were initially unsuccessful into Broadway plays. Always, eh? Rand achieved fame with her 1943 novel, The Fountainhead. In 1957, she published her best-selling work, the novel Atlas Shrugged. Afterward, until her death in 1982, she turned to nonfiction to promote her philosophy, publishing her own periodicals and releasing several collections of essays. Rand advocated reason and rejected faith in religion. She supported rational and ethical egoism, as opposed to altruism and hedonism. Ethical egoism is a normative position that moral agents ought to act in their own self-interest. It differs from psychological egoism, which claims that people can only act in their self-interest. Okay. Ethical egoism also differs from rational egoism, which holds... Oh, sorry, I clicked out. Which holds that it is rational to act in one's self-interest. Ethical egoism holds, therefore, that actions whose consequences will benefit the doer. Ethical egoism holds, that, therefore, that pumpkin buddy, that actions whose consequences will benefit the doer are ethical. If I had to choose one, I'd probably go with ethical egoism. I probably can kind of... I generally agree with that. I think most of the time what is probably right for you... well, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna speculate. Or rather, just like... think about it now. In politics, she condemned the initiation of force as immoral and supported laissez-faire capitalism, which she defined as the system based on recognizing individual rights, including private property rights. Although she opposed libertarianism, which she viewed as anarchism. I'm sorry, did we just not hear the opposite? Rand is often associated with the modern libertarian movement in the United States. In art, she promoted romantic realism. She was sharply critical of most philosophers and philosophical traditions, known to her with a few exceptions. Did they not literally just say?
In his autobiography.
Or did they say that he was a libertarian?
Ayn Rand became a stabilizing force in my life. It hadn't taken long for us to have a meeting of the minds. Mostly my mind meeting hers.
Rand stood in the Oval Office, as her star pupil was sworn in.
Greenspan had a very clear ideology about regulation.
His philosophy was in the form of what we called libertarianism. And that meant, those who do well prosper, those who do poorly fail, and the market clears to transactions.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
It was a philosophy made to order for Ronald Reagan.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
In 1987, Reagan made Greenspan the most powerful...
I'm sorry. How does one... I don't get it. I have a hard time understanding people sometimes. So please, feel free to explain. But how do you run for president while claiming government is the problem? Would you... Like his argument... since I recognize that, I, as the government, would get out of the way. And that therefore I am the right choice.
Powerful banker in the world. The chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Greenspan was a believer in Ayn Rand. A believer in free market. A little bit curious for a central banker, because what is central banking? It's a massive intervention in the market, setting interest rates.
Greenspan worried about this contradiction in his autobiography.
I knew I would have to pledge to uphold not only the Constitution, but also the laws of the land, many of which I thought were wrong.
Now the Vice President will swear Alan Greenspan.
Seems like the right man for the job.
And took the job.
I had long since decided to engage in efforts to advance free market capitalism as an insider, rather than as a critical pamphleteer.
He understood that there were laws he had to enforce that he personally would not have passed, but he intended to do as little as he could on regulation, and he proceeded to do just that.
And by the time Bill Clinton took the White House, the anti-government rhetoric had become so fashionable that even some Democrats embraced it.
Ronald Reagan had won. Government was seen as the problem, and even though Bill Clinton was someone who believed in government and wanted to use it, he was kind of forced into that Reagan-esque ideology because that was what people wanted to hear.
From the beginning, Clinton aimed to reassure powerful forces on Wall Street. And he did so with a key appointment.
I asked Robert Rubin to serve as assistant to the president for economic policy.
Rubin is the best-known financier in the country at that point because he had run the legendary Goldman Sachs.
Bob Rubin was Bill Clinton's emissary to Wall Street. Clinton placed great trust in Bob Rubin and Bob Rubin's view of financial markets and financial regulation.
He had an enormous amount of credibility because he was a business success, and Democratic administrations always seem to worship people who can excel at business.
At the White House, and as Treasury Secretary, Rubin found an unlikely ally. Clinton had asked Alan Greenspan to stay on.
Bob Rubin and Alan Greenspan were very much in lockstep. They had very similar views on Wall Street. It boiled down to the less regulation, the better.
And Rubin populated the Clinton administration with a network of free market true believers.
It wasn't just Rubin and Greenspan who were these free market acolytes. That thinking pervaded the Treasury and the White House.
Among Rubin's acolytes, 35-year-old Timothy Geithner, and Rubin's top deputy, the outspoken Harvard economist Larry Summers.
Summers is tough. Summers is very blunt-spoken, doesn't suffer fools lightly or anyone else, as the saying goes.
Bob Rubin is not a guy who likes confrontation. He's confrontation averse. But he understands that you need someone in there who can swing a heavy axe. And that person was Larry Summers. He was the enforcer.
Together, Greenspan, Rubin, and Summers formed their own pro-business, anti-regulation support group.
They're the Committee to Save the World, according to the Time magazine cover. These are the people we turn to at that moment, who together, all three in a way, say, trust us.
They seem to have things under control. You know, the world trusted Rubin and Greenspan, so why wouldn't Clinton? You know, and the market was doing great, and the country seemed to be doing great.
That's so interesting because it's a little bit hard for me to understand, naturally. Because, well, because I believe in capitalism, as Americans do. But I believe that capitalism can only exist with regulation, right? Like, or rather, a country can thrive with capitalism because of regulation. And so I don't think I think there is a balance, but I think that's like that's a point of regulation, right? It is creating the balance because like a free market on its own will not account for what's best for like the most people possible, which is what like any society should want. So I just don't really understand what the sales pitch was or what the attitude was around this time, but I'm just missing historical context.
Stock prices return to territory. The party on Wall Street today, posting a triple-digit gain, trading at 5 times its offering price. 9 for a total of 41,000.
Extremely active volume, 55 million shares changing hands, and market breadth is
2,500 dots.
These were the euphoric go-go 90s.
Well, you know, the mid to the late 1990s were a very ripe boom period. It was the most robust portion of the tech boom.
Internet fever has not subsided. On the money tonight, internet fever again. eBay up 700%.
The financial markets were zooming.
Priceline.com is the latest beneficiary of the internet stock craze.
The market was rocking and rolling.
Shares of the web technology company soared more than 50%.
No, bye-bye. Or fine, but okay. Go ahead.
Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 91 points today. $300 a share. Santa Claus arrives early on Wall Street.
But in Washington, there was one agency that looked at the bull market with some skepticism. Buried deep in the bureaucracy, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC.
It was a small fish in a otherwise a pretty big pond. It was always viewed as kind of a sleeping, small, not terribly significant agency.
The agency was authorized to regulate agriculture futures and to oversee arcane, complex financial instruments known as derivatives.
No, they're one of these little afterthought agencies that kind of get in the way of the big guys.
The CFTC started...
I think right now the like all of the different headlines of the internet craze and the .com bubble, I believe is what that was. It's interesting because I've heard pundits and economic commentators mention how it is likely that we are currently in a bubble, like we're in an AI bubble, and that potentially that bubble will be bursting this year, based on some trends, and so it's very interesting, and it's definitely true, right? Like everyone knows, and everyone knows because everyone says everyone knows, which just means like literally everyone is in agreement, that the AI companies right now are like super inflated their value. And that's exactly what this is, right? It's the idea like something new comes in, which back then it was like all of these different online platforms. I guess because they're like businesses, but we just know them as platforms now. Before in the context of trading and Wall Street, I guess it was just like online businesses, or tech businesses. That's what the word is. They were barely coming into fruition. It is opening. Jesus, it really was revolutionary, wasn't it? It's so hard to imagine because I am Gen Z and I'm on the cusp of Gen Z and millennial, but even millennials would probably have a harder time because they grew up with it too, as in their teenage years. But it was new. It was revolutionary. So everyone knew that the stocks would go up. So everyone is buying the hello. Welcome in. Everyone is buying the stocks because everyone knows that they're going to go up because of like all of the potential. And that's exactly what's happening right now with our AI companies, right? Everyone is expecting all of these stocks to go up in all of these different AI businesses. And then you have the big tech companies like investing like economies, right? Like the GDPs of small countries into these AI companies. So like, why wouldn't they? And but it becomes a bubble and it will pop. And so it'll just be interesting to see how and when. And then you just have like that added situation right now where I guess I'm just curious to see like how it interacts with the fact that oh damn, I messed up here. Sorry. With the fact that our AI regulation is basically non-existent because we have a disgusting, corrupt, egocentric narcissist in office who doesn't care about the future of our country or literally just anything except his own wallet being bigger and his own ego being stroked. And companies know this, so they just do that and they move on with their lives.
Getting in the way in 1996, when a new chairperson, Brooksley Born, took over.
My law practice was in the derivatives area. I'd practiced derivatives law for more than 20 years.
Brooksley Born is a long-time securities lawyer. She has a stellar reputation. She's been around the block. She knows her stuff.
Born was 55, a veteran of the gender wars that had influenced many women of her age group. In Born's case, the struggle had started early. Born went to Stanford in the early 1960s. Most women in her class got married. Brooksley went to law school.
There were very few women in law school at the time. This was during the Vietnam War. And a lot of men in the class saying, "What are you doing here? You're taking the place of somebody, a man who could be here and not have to go to the war." The way she approached this was...
That's really interesting because wouldn't you expect them to, to be like... Well, like, what do you expect? What do you want men to go to war? I'm sorry, like, is that not what a real man would do if you believe in dumb gender stereotypes?
Well, I got to show them I can do it.
She did. Top of her class. The first female president of the Stanford Law Review.
Okay.
You would think this would be a great moment of triumph for Brooksley Born.
You would.
Instead, she gets a phone call from one of the deans, and he says, "Brooksley, I just want to let you know that the faculty stands ready to step in if you're not able to pull this off."
Oof.
It goes on like that, on and on and on.
That's crazy.
Step of Brooksley Born's life and career.
In Washington, she became a partner in a prestigious law firm, built an international reputation, formed alliances with other powerful female attorneys, including one who happened to be the wife of Arkansas's governor.
She had developed a very close relationship with Hillary Clinton when Hillary Clinton was a very prominent lawyer in Little Rock, Arkansas.
And then Bill Clinton won the presidency.
Brooksley Born found herself being invited down to Arkansas during the transition for a meeting with him to discuss possibly being the Attorney General of the United States.
She's very self-effacing. You know, she's flattered, but she's gonna see if it happens.
Week 7 of the Clinton transition. NBC's Andrea Mitchell tonight.
For Attorney General, Clinton is considering Washington lawyer Brooksley Born, but he may have...
Brooksley went in for an interview with Clinton. The story that comes back was that Clinton found her boring and that it never went anywhere.
It didn't happen. Janet Reno was chosen.
And that's how Brooksley Born ended up running the obscure CFTC.
I think to some extent you could view this as a consolation prize. To the general world, people who knew Brooksley, the circles she traveled, the American Bar Association, the DC Bar, all the prestigious boards she served on, people were probably scratching their heads.
An experienced financial litigator who'd seen the worst of the markets, Born was a believer in government regulation. Given the political climate in Washington at the time, clashes with Greenspan, Rubin, and Summers were inevitable. Almost right away, she had one. It began after she received an invitation to lunch at the Federal Reserve with the chairman himself.
How could you not have a little bit of butterflies in your stomach when you're going to go see Alan Greenspan at that moment in time?
It didn't take long for Born to learn that she and the chairman were not going to see eye to eye.
He said something to the effect of, well, Brooksley, we're never going to agree on fraud. And she said, well, what do you mean? And he said, you probably think there should be rules against it. She said, well, yes, I do. He said, you know, I think the market will figure it out and take care of the fraudsters.
The Alan Greenspan lunch, did it actually happen? Where he says...
I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it on camera.
I wonder why. That's a crazy thing to say, especially as the head of anything in government. And beyond, I don't get it. I genuinely don't. I mean, he is a libertarian, so that's what we freaking get. By we, I mean, well, yeah, we, because we're all paying the consequences, aren't we? There's so many people that that will operate today the way they do because of what happened back then. So that's just a scary thing to hear. Although at this point we have heard worse and seen worse.
Born is reluctant to speak about her meetings with Greenspan or others in the Clinton administration. Greenspan refused to speak to Frontline at all, but Born's advisors did.
Greenspan didn't believe that fraud was something that needed to be enforced.
Of course not.
And he assumed she probably did. And of course she did. I've never met a financial regulator who didn't feel that fraud was part of their mission.
And this is an absolute stunner for the new head of this tiny agency who is charged with making sure people don't commit fraud.
Well, I think she was taken aback about how far he would go towards deregulation, that even the notion that we should police fraudulent activity he didn't think was something that was a given.
That was her introduction to Alan Greenspan.
I just don't understand how the markets are supposed to account for fraud.
She was determined that her agency would investigate fraud at the first opportunity. One area that caught her attention was a new and highly lucrative market, over-the-counter derivatives.
She starts to realize that there's this whole world out there of what are called over-the-counter derivatives that are essentially unregulated. It's not even that they're unregulated, it's that the government doesn't even know what's going on.
My staff began to say how big this was and how little information they had about it.
On Wall Street, they described it as a black box. Only the parties involved in a deal knew what was happening.
The derivatives market was a market that was not well understood,
was growing rapidly, that had a few really smart, aggressive, innovative players.
Derivatives, swaps, basically bets between companies and banks, laying off risk.
Derivatives, in essence, are insurance policies that various players on Wall Street enter into to protect themselves from unforeseen calamities.
It was a $27 trillion market, happening out of sight, inside a black box.
That is a lot of money.
We didn't truly know the dangers in the market because it was a dark market. There was no transparency.
The conditions were very favorable for things to go wrong.
As Bourne's investigators learned, there was also plenty of room for old-fashioned fraud.
There's this major scandal at Bankers Trust where they have taken two of their customers, Procter & Gamble and Gibson greeting cards, to the cleaners with these complex over-the-counter derivative products.
Dealings in derivatives sold by Bankers Trust.
Procter & Gamble claim they've lost millions of dollars from derivative deals arranged by Bankers Trust.
In 1993, Bankers Trust, one of the largest banks in the country at the time, had sold derivatives to Procter & Gamble.
Procter & Gamble sued Bankers Trust, claiming that they had been sold products that they didn't really understand and that blew up in their face.
The lawsuit set the stage for a stunning revelation. Bankers Trust employees took advantage of the fact that derivatives were too complicated to understand.
Well, that sounds familiar.
It opened a window onto what was really going on in the derivatives market.
But I still don't really understand what derivatives are. It seems to be some type of like transaction with another financial company. Okay, let me just look it up. Derivative. Economics. Finance. It is a contract between a buyer and a seller. The derivative can take various forms depending on the transaction, but every derivative has the following four elements: an item, the underlier, that can or must be bought or sold. So therefore, I guess it's a little bit where the insurance comes in. There must be like a transaction occurring. A future act which must occur, such as a sale or purchase of the underlier. Okay. A price at which the future transaction must take place, and a future date by which the act, such as a purchase or sale, must take place. Okay. So a contract of something being bought or sold at some point. Wow. A derivative's value depends on the performance of the underlier, which is to say the thing that would be bought or sold, which can be a commodity, for example, corn or oil, a financial instrument, a stock or a bond, a price index, a currency, or an interest rate. Derivatives can be used to insure against price movements, increase exposure to price movements for speculation, or get access to otherwise hard-to-trade assets or markets. Most derivatives are price guarantees, but some are based on an event or performance of an act rather than a price. Agriculture, natural gas, electricity, and oil businesses use derivatives to mitigate risk from adverse weather. Okay, that makes sense. Derivatives can be used to protect lenders against the risk of borrowers defaulting on an obligation. Okay, yeah, so it is a contract that, I guess, probably to, I guess I would love an example. Derivatives are one of the three main, I've never heard of this. Derivatives are one of the three main categories of financial instruments, the other two being equity, i.e. stocks or shares, and debt, bonds and mortgages. The oldest example of a derivative in history, attested to by Aristotle, is thought to be a contract transaction of olives, entered into by ancient Greek philosopher Thales who made a profit in the exchange. However, Aristotle did not define this arrangement as a derivative but as a monopoly. Bucket shops outlawed in 1936 in the US are a more recent historical example. It seems, so it's similar to a debt in that it is a promise that something will be paid back. However, in a debt, both people will agree to a price or an amount and a date and maybe an interest rate. And we'll just stop it there for the sake of my understanding. And so the debt has to be paid back and that's it. And so the biggest difference is that I guess we're talking about a thing and we're talking about it being sold or bought. And that, I guess that's the biggest difference. And so the derivative's value depends on the performance of the underlier. See, I don't bet, so I don't understand hedging too well. Pumpkin buddy, no. I'm sorry, Bubba, but you can't be here. That's fine, you can be up there. Okay, we'll just keep watching and hopefully it becomes a little bit clearer. If anyone wants to help out understanding, feel free.
As part of the case, Procter & Gamble discovered secret audio tape recordings of telephone calls.
Okay, it's because I kind of understand. Okay, so for example, someone committed like fraud, right, essentially, because one company was selling derivatives to another company. So essentially, if you are, I just don't understand where the original transaction is from, like what the original value is where it's at. He sits in front of my monitor and I can't see the video. That's the only reason why he has to come down. But because I understand that, for example, hedging, right? So I understand that if you are, for example, if you fear that something will be lower in value, then you would, at this point, I guess it doesn't have to be 1-to-1. I suppose you can, for example, sell an item and then make a derivative of like a stock or an interest rate, just something more financial as opposed to an actual object, and that would offset. So basically, if the item becomes less valuable, the derivative, which would be some type of something financial, something money, something worth money. not worth money, but actual money. Then you give them the thing that is cheap, and then you get back the currency that would have been like at a higher rate. I think I understood.
Among Bankers Trust brokers,
there was one employee who described the business as a wet dream. A Bankers Trust employee said, "We set him up."
Oof.
They had taped phone calls from people inside Bankers Trust who were sort of chuckling, saying, haha, these idiots really think that this is in their best interest, but haha, it's not. We're probably going to end up cleaning their clocks on these contracts.
it had all happened in secret. Even this blatant scam might never have been discovered by the government.
The only way the CFTC found out about the Bankers Trust fraud was because Procter & Gamble and others filed suit.
Looking inside Wall Street's black box was impossible for Bourne, or indeed any other government regulator.
They're unregulated. The contracts aren't traded on exchanges. They're entered into between private parties.
There was no record-keeping requirement imposed on participants in the market. There was no reporting. We had no information.
There's no
sorry.
way, really, for the government or anyone else to know how many of these are out there, know how big a market it is, and know who owns them and who owes who money, because it's just a bunch of contracts in file cabinets in the lawyers' offices of banks and hedge funds all over the world.
Okay.
And that's what frightened Bourne more than anything. Trillions of dollars, and the biggest banks in the country operating in secret. If something went terribly wrong, the high-stakes derivatives market could take down the entire financial system.
And that's what everybody's worried about. You have one big institution that fails, it can't pay its obligations. It forces somebody else into a dangerous territory who can't pay their obligations. And pretty soon it's a falling domino effect through the economy.
As the market grew,
Have you guys seen about like when banks fall? It's genuinely very fascinating. I think one of the things that interests me the most about economics, it's the fact of how growing up, I think it's very easy to believe, and you're kind of told this as well, that economics it's like it's similar to tech, right? So it's something like very intellectual, it's something very logical, it's numbers, it's math, and then maybe that's true, like some parts of it I'm sure are definitely true, but at the end of the day, really, economics is just psychology. It's just human behavior, right? It's like you cannot separate the human element, which makes sense. We made it. We made economics. But so for example, like a bank when it falls, I heard a NPR Planet Money episode where they spoke about a bank falling, and it's just really fascinating because essentially a bank falls when people lose trust in the institution and the financial institution. It creates panic, and so people will go and they'll try to get their money because they're scared that if they don't go get their money, they won't have any more money to get because the bank lost it, right? Not literally, as in they don't know where it is, or rather, for example, someone may have committed fraud, or they did like a bad bet. So similar to this, right? So people are being taken advantage of, banks are being taken advantage of by other financial institutions using derivatives, apparently, because they are unregulated. And so, the banks are losing the money. And so now when the public hears about this, they get scared. So they go to retrieve their money, meaning the bank already lost money and now more money is being taken from them. And so now, and a bank needs money to run. It needs money to function. And so it is fascinating to me how something so big and important literally just relies so heavily on something as human and not fickle, but a little bit fickle, as trust. And that's literally it. And so it's just genuinely fascinating.
and morphed, Bourne felt her agency would have to get involved. But that would mean confronting Greenspan, Rubin, and Summers.
She used to say she would lay awake at night, turning in her bed, because she could see, coming down the road, the crises kept building and building.
Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan told Congress today the U.S. economy is the best he's ever seen.
By spring of 1998, the idea of tougher regulation seemed out of step with all the good news.
Current economic performance is as impressive as any I have witnessed in my near half-century.
Those internet stocks continue their meteoric rise.
Investors are hoping Alan Greenspan will give them another boost by lowering interest rates yet again.
You have to remember the context. Companies are going public and doubling every week of the year.
By the way, this is why Trump wants interest rates lowered, because it does boost the economy, but by the economy they mean like the market. So like if you don't have anything invested, if you don't have like like retirement plans or stocks, then this is not going to benefit you at all.
If you thought the internet bubble was about to burst, think again.
Some weeks it was happening every day, and the idea of worrying about derivatives was just, so 20th century.
We were on a path towards, wow, markets can do great things. Communism was dead. Markets, capitalism was invincible.
But at Treasury, things were about to change. The carefully calibrated inner tranquility was being disturbed by a small tremor. It quickly made its way up to Robert Rubin. Brooksley Born was contemplating the regulation of OTC derivatives.
The pushback is visceral and immediate. And that's one of the striking things about this.
This was a job for Larry Summers.
I walk into Brooksley's office one day. The blood is drained from her face. She's hanging up the telephone. She says to me, "That was Larry Summers."
Larry basically reads her the Riot Act. He more or less tells her, my understanding is that you don't get it.
He says you're going to cause the worst financial crisis since the end of World War II. That he has, my memory is, 13 bankers in his office who have informed him of this. Stop. Right away. No more.
Let me get to a little bit more context. I'm not, I've heard of the Riot Act. I've heard it mentioned. I don't really know much about it. Okay. The Riot Act, sometimes called the Riot Act 1714, or the Riot Act 1715, was an act of the Parliament of Great Britain. What? Which authorized local authorities to declare any group of 12 or more people to be unlawfully assembled and order them to disperse or face punitive action. The act's full title was An Act for Preventing Tumult in Riotous Assemblies and for the more speedy and effectual punishing the rioters. And it came into force. Okay, am I reading the right thing? Riot Act. I mean, it's got to be, right? Because he did mention 12 people.
Bankers in his office that he has going to cause the worst financial crisis since the end of World War II. That he has, my memory is, 13 bankers in his office who have informed him of this. Stop. Right away. No more.
I was
In
confused.
Washington, they say the financial sector has 5 lobbyists for every congressman.
Brooksley Born is stepping into the maw of the most well-oiled and highly financed lobby in the history of Washington, D.C. It's the financial lobby.
Bankers just fall over themselves, calling Summers and Rubin and Greenspan and everybody, saying, "Get this lady off our backs."
Okay, I have just discovered that this is apparently a phrase. Jesus. Okay, that's not on me. This is just a hold. I've never heard someone use this phrase. So apparently, to read the Riot Act, it's a figure of speech. To reprimand. Is that how people use? Okay, sorry. To reprimand someone severely or deliver a stern warning to stop behavior, often implying severe consequences. That is so funny. I never heard it used that way before. And now I wonder about all these other things that I've heard people say. That's so funny. I must have completely misunderstood what they were saying whenever I've heard it used before. Oh, well, the more you know.
But the harder they pushed, the more interested Born became.
They were totally opposed to it. That puzzled me. What was it that was in this market that had to be hidden? Why did it have to be a completely dark market? So it made me very suspicious and troubled.
Bourne's agency was legally independent. She reported to the president. Rubin had no authority over her. To stop her, he would call upon his allies who sat with him on a secretive council known as the President's Working Group.
The President's Working Group was the most influential White House body on financial policy.
It was called at the discretion of the Secretary of the Treasury.
It was a committee handpicked by Bob Rubin, and it was a committee that he steered.
Larry Summers attended. So did Alan Greenspan. And the chairman of the SEC, Arthur Levitt.
Alan and Bob and I had known one another and away from government. I think we all liked one another and respected one another.
By executive order, the head of the CFTC also attended the meetings.
I didn't know Brooksley Born. I was told that she was irascible, difficult, stubborn, unreasonable.
Rubin, Summers, and Greenspan had a great deal of faith in their own.
Unreasonable? You know what's unreasonable? Not investigating fraud. That's unreasonable.
Intellects. And I think that they were.
Not regulating. Sorry. Not regulating anything where like people have a lot of money to gain. If there is a place where money can be made, money, the thing that makes the world spin round, okay, the thing that like the thing that people say corrupts, to not regulate that, that's unreasonable.
Or not welcoming of somebody who looked at the world different and was kind of abrasive.
You know, they were used to dealing mainly with men and with people they knew. And here was someone they didn't really know. They didn't know that much about her. And to boot, she was a woman. So, you know, put it all together and you got somebody that you can kind of flick off with the back of your hand. At least they thought.
As Rubin was quietly preparing the working group, Bourne was taking the first steps toward regulating OTC derivatives, designing a document known as a concept release. In response, Rubin acted, calling an emergency meeting of the working group.
We're driven there, and we get out at the entrance to the Treasury, go up to the room, everybody assembles, secretary walks in, the meeting is called to order. And the subject of the meeting was to discuss the concept release, and the clear mission of it was to convince Brooksley that it shouldn't be issued.
What's amazing is that Rubin and Greenspan said, no, 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 you can't do that. We just can't have this. And it got pretty nasty pretty quickly.
Those on the other side were saying, look, this deregulated market is part of what's brought us the boom times. And so we don't want to change that. You know, the market will take care of everything. And we really don't need regulation of these. And in fact, it would be counterproductive.
Each of the principals in turn, that is to say, Rubin, Greenspan, and Levitt, take their shot at telling Brooksley that she shouldn't do what she's doing.
Rubin says to her, you don't have the legal authority to do this.
And Brooksley said, oh, that's interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard that. All my lawyers at the CFTC have assured me that we have the exclusive jurisdiction to do this.
Rubin was condescending toward her. He said he would get his lawyer in the department to help her understand the laws better, something like that.
SEC Chairman Arthur Levitt had been personally lobbied to join the effort to shut Bourne down.
This tight-knit group persuaded me that we really would face a situation of financial turmoil if we tried to undo these existing contracts.
And then it was Alan Greenspan's turn.
I happened to be sitting behind Brooksley and behind Greenspan. They're sitting next to each other. Greenspan turns to her, she turns to him. His face is red, and he's clearly quite upset. He was very adamant that this was a serious, serious mistake, that it would cause untold damages to the financial services market, and that she should stop and not do this, that it was unwise, and and would cause tremendous damage.
In a group of this kind, there will be a disparity in power, and it would take an extraordinarily outspoken, knowledgeable, pugnacious person to fight the losing battle against the titans who led that group.
It's the education of Brooksley Born. They decided that, hey, she's not playing ball. We're going to teach her a lesson. And we're going to get this thing killed because we don't want it to happen.
But 2 weeks later, Bourne told her staff to publish the concept release.
That creates an earthquake. You're talking foundation of the building. And she is literally in the crossfire of an amazing number of bullets.
The response of the working group was immediate and unprecedented.
By the afternoon, Rubin, Greenspan, Levitt put out a statement saying, this is a very bad thing, and Congress should act with all deliberate speed to block it.
We have grave concerns about this action and its possible consequences. We are prepared to pursue, as appropriate, legislation that would provide greater certainty concerning the legal status of OTC derivatives.
The powers that be in Washington put out the word to the media, and they put out the word to Capitol Hill that her views were not to be trusted, they were not to be taken seriously, that she was running a podunk agency. This was a power grab, and she didn't have a clear understanding of the products.
That's crazy, just like from a political standpoint, because we're talking about the head of a department that was put there by Bill Clinton, who was also the person who chose them as the head of their own department. And so you're saying, yes, this person, they're very untrustworthy. Who put them there? Oh, right, the same person that thought that I was trustworthy to head this one. It's just like from that perspective, it's just like, well then, I mean, excuse me, like what's the difference between both of you?
That she was going to regulate and shouldn't be entrusted with that kind of power, and it would be a great mistake if she were.
This hearing of the Senate Agriculture Committee is now called to order.
Only Congress had the legal authority to stop Bourne. Rubin, Greenspan, Summers, and Levitt lobbied hard.
Today we will receive testimony on over-the-counter derivatives.
Hearings were held almost immediately in both the House and the Senate.
Brooksley is a lady, and the men were gentlemen, but the feelings were quite intense. This was an enormous embarrassment to the executive branch because they couldn't coordinate with each other.
There are a ridiculous number of congressional hearings.
Essential that the government not create uncertainty.
CFTC wants to come into somebody else's yard here.
She just gets pummeled on Capitol Hill.
I see no evidence whatsoever to suggest that this is a troubled market, that fraud is rampant.
The release has cast the shadow of regulatory uncertainty over a thriving market.
The CFTC's action has and will bring, I believe, significant disruption to this important global market.
Serves no useful purpose, hinders the efficiency of markets to enlarge.
All the regulators there testifying, and you know, all of them say this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea. And then she says this is a good idea, and the senators and congressmen just you know, beat her over the head.
I feel very strong.
So this was in what, 2005, I think was the last date that they gave me, maybe? Let's just see, because I'm really curious. Okay, right, because this is a hearing in front of Congress. Congress, gender ratio in 2008. No, 2000. Let's just call it 5. In January of 2005, women held roughly 14.9%. In the House of Representatives, and in the Senate, 14%. So out of 535 voting members in Congress, 83 women in there. You know what? I thought it was going to be worse, but I guess. So there's that. That is the silver lining, I suppose.
That we should not have one agency innovate in this area, and in doing so create very substantial financial problems.
90% of the members of Congress couldn't have told you what a derivative was. So all they knew was that these guys on Wall Street, some of them make big campaign contributions, many of them seem very smart, say if we do this, it'll screw up the economy.
My question again is,
So
what are you
frustrating.
trying to protect?
We're trying to protect the money of the American public, which is at risk in these markets.
That summer of 1998, Bourne testified 4 times before hostile congressional committees.
They were hearing from very respectable sources that there was no problem, and they chose to rely on those people.
At this point, honestly, I would low-key run for Congress. I actually wouldn't, but I would consider it. I think it's okay. Well, if we're honest, like if we're real, right? I think that really you just have to have you just have to be connected to your community, to the people that you're going to represent. You need to know what they care about, what their concerns are, like and also in some ways like what they believe in is worth defending. And that's really it. But it's very interesting to me that you don't, that's it. That's your job. And I can see the good. I think it is good that that this isn't a position that you have to have. Surely, I don't think you have to have requirements to be congressman. You have to be minimum 25 years old, be a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years, inhabitant of the state from which they are elected, and an oath. And that's it, right? And that's, I think there's something very special about that we get to send in, like, relatively, like, normal people. Ideally normal people. We all know that doesn't always work that way. To represent us in, like, who have, like, direct power. Okay, I mean, I say direct loosely, right? Because obviously they're working as a body. But these are the people that make our laws. Like, that's important. That's valuable. And it's our neighbors, it's our friends, it's, it's our coworkers. So I think that there's something just, like, very interesting in that. It does come with the fault that when big problems come to their table, for example, especially, I don't know, okay. I think it's a great idea when most people are engaged in their civic duties. When most citizens are civically engaged, and then I think that our government thrives. Like, our specific government. Because, I mean, have you guys seen some of the hearings that have gone on through the years, especially as our big tech companies, like, go on and do crazy and immoral things, who actively harm society, but they will do, like, nothing to do it. And so, for example, like, regulating big tech, right? We've done hearings before, and it's kind of painful. It's painful because we have our Congress people who are, like, 70, 80 years old, and they don't know. They don't know because they were already 60 or 50 years old when Facebook came out. That might not be true. I might be exaggerating that. But I also might not. Let's see, who's the oldest person in Congress right now? Okay, yeah, I'm a member of Congress. Oldest members of Congress. So I know that YouTube was in 2005. I think Facebook was also established in 2005. See, 24 members of Congress are 80 or older. Excuse me, Senator Chuck Grassley is 92. Wait, no, there's no way. There's no way. As she should. Like, have you guys seen the clips of Mitch McConnell? Like, that dude is not okay. And that's fine, you know, like that is a-okay. But it's like, but you this is not where you should be, sweetie. Like, just go rest, okay? Go, I don't know. Surely you have family. Go visit them. You have like a limited amount of time left on this earth.
This week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
It's like, at this point, I don't care what horrors you have condemned the American people to. Just go home. Oh, Jesus. In total, this Congress is the third oldest in U.S. history. Oh, that's great. With an average of age of 58.9 years at the start of this session 1 year ago. The median age in the U.S. is 39. Among Congress, 24 silent generation members, defined as those born from 1928 to 1945, from the start of the Great Depression to the end of World War II. Most are Democrats. Oh, great. I mean, that just means, here's my problem. I think it must be the fact, because these are boomers, are they not? I think these are boomers. By the end of this year, the average age will be nearly 85. 10 members will be that age or older, and 3 will be at or knocking on 90's door. No. You cannot allow 90-year-olds to be making the decisions for you. Because if you were actively choosing, you know what, maybe you deserve it. Age at the end of the term if re-elected. 88. Those are the 13. Even before Democrats pressured then President Joe Biden to drop out of the 2024 presidential race over concerns about his age, voters had been calling for generational change in Washington. A 2023 Pew Research Center survey found that 82% of Republicans and 76% of Democrats back an age limit for federal elected officials. I think that's incredible news. I think this should 1,000% so much right a bill. The silent generation's ranks have dwindled from 39 members in 2021 to 24 and yeah, I'm sure because they like died or something. That's just insane. I just know, like, millennials and older Gen Z, they need to start stepping up. They gotta. This is just whatever. Okay. That was like a crazy tangent.
I think that was understandable. I think it was unfortunate, but I think it was very understandable.
I thank each one of you for coming and for your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The system wasn't set up to allow somebody like Brooksley Born to have a real impact.
She was running against the tide of
Why does it look so small? It's such a small room.
very powerful forces and powerful forces that were doing exceptionally well.
As Congress headed for the summer recess, it seemed likely they would not heed Bourne's warning.
She had no support anywhere.
She wasn't a member. She had no political capital. She had no chance.
Then Bourne's warning became a prophecy.
I was at home and I got a call, and as I would often get a call from the Treasury operator. And it was Secretary Rubin on a Saturday, and the Secretary of the Treasury wants to have a conversation with me about this hedge fund that apparently was about to go under.
The hedge fund, long-term capital management, was melting down. A quiet panic had begun. It looked exactly like what Brooksley Bourne had been warning about. Known on the street as LTCM, it was the trillion-dollar favorite of in-the-know investors.
LTCM's a hedge fund. It's run by John Merriweather, ex-Salomon Brothers. He's considered one of the great geniuses of the bond market. Tons of money flows his way from private investors who would like to make a killing via his smarts.
The firm also had the former vice chairman of the Fed, Alan Greenspan's number 2.
David Mullins and John Merriweather operated LTCM outside government regulations.
They were the personification or the embodiment of Alan Greenspan's credo. Credo was, markets get it right.
Yeah, because historically that's just been obviously true. Because there's so much evidence to back this theory up.
LTCM invented complex mathematical formulas and used derivatives to place their bets.
These guys are the rock stars, the long-term capital management team. They're sort of rock stars for the math clubs of America.
LTCM is a case study in arrogance. A lot of really, really smart people who thought they had a foolproof money machine. A number of them Nobel Prize winners.
Neither the government nor investors knew anything about how LTCM worked.
We literally are just repeating history, aren't we? This feels so similar to just how AI, and probably, well, because it's not tech, technically, that was crashing then. But this is what AI feels like, right? Which is like we have a bunch of tech bros involving themselves in everything that they shouldn't be. And then we have like AI being an incredible like new technology that is taking over freaking everything, that has millions and millions, if not billions of money being invested in right now, and they all think that they're God, and they all argue this, don't they? They all like say that like, oh, don't regulate us because you're impeding on an innovation, and we want to be the leaders of the AI whatever. And it's like everyone can appreciate that sentiment. Of course, everyone wants America to be the leader of whatever. Of course, everyone wants like AI to actually like help society move forward. For example, I'm sure it can have like excellent applications in like the medical field and important things like that. But regulation is important. Regulation like needs to happen, because if not, like te llevas a los demás entre los pies is the thing. When you don't regulate, it just you have to do a risk assessment, don't you not? Just as Congress, right? Let's think of just the Congress, because they're the laymen. They don't know anything. I don't know anything, so I'd fit right in. But it has to be a risk assessment. If you do regulate, what happens? If you don't, what happens? And so, like in this situation, I wish we would have heard what Bourne was saying, like, because it wasn't obviously as simple as it's a bad idea and it's a good idea. Like, no, what are the actual risks of things happening? They're saying, okay, it'll like crash the market, I guess, or it'll harm the market. But like, what was the counter argument for that? What happens if nothing is done? Because it can't just be like she didn't have. Oh God, wasn't it? It was just a matter of like political power. It's frustrating sometimes because, and I don't, it's no one's fault in some ways, and it's everyone's fault in other ways, because at the end of the day, humans will human, and it's not enough to, it's never enough to just be right. Well, at least you can say I told you so. It's enough for that.
It was a completely secret process.
If you want to invest in long-term capital management, you've got to walk into a conference room, abandon computers, abandon pencils, abandon yellow pads, no notes, and you're told there's a black box. Look at these returns, 46%, 40%, 20%. People are fighting to get to invest. People are fighting to lend money.
LTCM did business with 15 of Wall Street's biggest banks, leveraging $5 billion into more than $1 trillion in derivatives.
All these big banks hadn't done their homework. They didn't even know the extent of LTCM's exposures in the market, or the fact that all of the other OTC derivatives dealers had been lending to them as well.
Then, trouble. LTCM's complicated computer models were failing.
In Russia, the financial markets were hit hard today.
Rocked by a financial crisis in Russia.
The firm had all sorts of models that said no matter what happened, based on history, they couldn't lose more than $35 million a day.
In Russia today, a grave financial situation grew decidedly worse.
The effects of the Russia crisis were evident everywhere.
They started dropping $300, $400, $500 million every day.
Word of a pending collapse spread. Many banks had invested in LTCM's derivatives, believing they alone were in a deal.
Oh.
They weren't.
When LTCM started to get stressed, and these guys said, I want to collect my collateral, they all discovered that a lot of other parties had the same claims on it.
Oh, no.
With Wall Street's banks in a panic, LTCM was perilously close to collapse. And that's when Washington first heard about the problem. The Secretary of the Treasury began to contact members of the President's Working Group.
I got a call from the Treasury.
For what? The market will resolve itself. And if there was fraud, it doesn't matter. Regulation, never heard of her.
Department. I thought that LTCM was exactly what I had been worried about. None of the regulators had known they were on the verge of collapse. Why? Because we didn't have any information about the market.
That weekend, the members of the working group were told the entire American economy was hanging in the balance.
Long-term capital management had very large positions in the over-the-counter derivatives marketplace. And if it came down, the question is, how would that affect the American public? How would that reverberate through the system and affect everybody's livelihood in the country?
And the fear is that if it goes down, it would present what they call a systemic risk, something that could unwind the entire financial system.
At Treasury, all they could do was watch and wait.
It was very scary. Credit markets around the world just shut down. There was a period of real panic. People were very, very frightened. These firms were worried about, in some cases, their future, in some cases, their survival. It was a real bloodletting.
After 4 days, the Fed acted, but not directly. The Wall Street banks were pressured to bail out LTCM themselves.
The government said, it is our belief that your financial stability is in jeopardy. And the way to solve this problem is for you each to pony up $400 million.
So interesting.
And buy the fund, prevent it from collapsing, and try and work the thing out.
14 banks agree to put up a few $100 million each, about $3.5 billion total.
It worked. The crisis passed. In Washington, a collective sigh of relief. And then, a call to action. Some in Congress began to clamor for regulation.
The United States government is obligated to be on top of the issues.
When and how did the concept of market self-regulation fail us?
Americans should be worried about the gambling of Wall Street elites.
That puts at risk every American, puts at risk democracy.
How many more failures do you think we'd have to have before some regulation in this area might be appropriate?
There was a strong sense that we ought to do something about these derivatives. That they really were posing a risk to our national economy and to the global economy.
But Alan Greenspan had no intention of yielding.
I know of no set of supervisory
Ay, no me
actions
digas.
today that will prevent people from
I was
making-
barely born. I was a couple months old when this gentleman was making these decisions.
dumb mistakes. I know of no piece of legislation that can be passed by the Congress which would require us to prevent them from making dumb mistakes.
Congress was told that this.
It's just so, I mean, I don't, you already failed because banks had to bail out this, what was it? The old CTKM or whatever. they had to bail them out. Like, you already failed. And like, okay, whatever. It's not like it matters.
It was an anomaly. This was not indicative.
It
of
already
dangers
happened.
in the market.
I think it's very important for us not to introduce regulations.
And, okay, no, actually, no, because is this not a hearing? Is this not what is happening right now? So it was, again, Congress that failed, right? Because they let this man talk and BS them again, and then they believed him again. Okay, whatever. And for regulation's sake, what do you mean? What do you mean for regulation's sake? We just saw the economy get close to collapsing.
In the end, Congress agreed with Alan Greenspan. There would be no new regulations of over-the-counter derivatives.
So now this is an unregulated market. No transparency, no capital reserve requirements, no prohibition on fraud, no prohibition on manipulation, no regulation of intermediaries. All the fundamental templates that we learned from the Great Depression are needed to have markets function smoothly are gone.
But within the next few weeks...
I'm confused. What was the Great Depression? That was in... I did not go to school in the States, by the way, just so you don't completely think that the education system left me behind. I wasn't a part of it here. I was in Mexico. The crash of 1929. Where am I? nationalhumanitycenter.org. Was a severe global economic downturn from 1929 to 1939. The period was characterized by high rates of unemployment and poverty, drastic reductions in industrial production and international trade, and widespread bank and business failures around the world. The economic contagion began in 1929 in the United States, the largest economy in the world, with a devastating Wall Street crash of 1929, often considered the beginning of the Depression. Among the countries with the most unemployed were the U.S., the United Kingdom, and Germany. The Wall Street crash of 1929, also known as the Great Crash, was a major stock market crash in the United States, which began in October of 1929 with a sharp decline in prices on the New York Stock Exchange. It triggered a rapid erosion of confidence in the U.S. banking system. See, that's just like, it's hilarious that it's about confidence that economies and markets rely on trust in the U.S. banking system, and marked the beginning of the worldwide Great Depression that lasted until 1939, making it the most devastating crash in the country's history. It is most associated with October 24, 1929, known as Black Thursday, when a record 12.9 million shares were traded on the exchange. In October 29, 1929, or Black Tuesday, when some 16.4 million shares were traded. Is this where Black Friday comes from? Because that's great irony. The roaring 20s of the previous decade had been a time of industrial expansion in the US, and much of the profit had been invested in speculation, including in stocks. By speculation, they mean like just, it's hope. Okay. Because I've heard some, content creators who do, like, financial advice, use speculation, and it's, I guess I just wanted to know if it was a more technical term. Because it's essentially, okay, because it seemed like they would always use it, like, as a nicer word than gambling, and it just kind of seems to be true. And much of the profit had been invested in speculation, including in stocks. Many members of the public, disappointed by the low interest rates offered on their bank deposits, committed their relatively small sums to stockbrokers. It was a different time. So crazy. I mean, well, okay. Because people don't invest nowadays either, so. By 1929, the U.S. economy was showing signs of trouble. The agricultural sector was depressed due to overproduction and failing prices, forcing many farmers into debt, and consumer goods manufacturers also had unsellable output due to low wages and thus low purchasing power. Factory owners cut production and fired staff, reducing demand even further. Despite these trends, investors continued to buy shares in areas of the economy where output was declining and unemployment was increasing, so the purchase price of stocks greatly exceeded their real value. By September 1929, more experienced shareholders realized that prices could not Sorry, I thought I heard it ring. More experienced shareholders realized that prices could not continue to rise and began to get rid of their holdings, which caused share values to stall and then fall, encouraging more to sell. As investors panicked, the selling became frenzied. After Black Thursday, leading bankers joined forces to purchase stock at prices above market value, a strategy used during the Panic of 1907. Oh, it might have been this that I heard. Of, maybe. This encouraged a brief recovery before Black Tuesday. Further action failed to halt the fall, which continued until July 8, 1932. By then, the stock market had lost some 90% of its pre-cash value. Congress responded to the events by passing the Banking Act of 1933, which separated commercial and investment banking. Stock exchanges introduced a practice of suspending trading when prices fell rapidly to limit panic selling. Scholars differ over the crash's effect on the Great Depression, with some claiming that the price fluctuations were insufficient on their own to trigger a major collapse of the financial system, while with others arguing that the crash, combined with the other economic problems in the U.S. in the 1920s, should be jointly interpreted as a stage in the business cycles which affect all capitalist economies. The business cycles. The changes in economic activity that characterize business cycles have important implications. Oh, no shit. Are intervals of general expansion followed by recession in economic performance. So, okay. Where were we? Right.
Congress did decide to do something about Brooksley Born. They stopped her entirely.
Essentially what you have is a very bald and brutal power play. They defenestrate her entire agency. They say, because you haven't played ball, we are now declaring a regulatory freeze on anything you folks can do in this market. Forget it, you're done. And she was.
Born resigned.
There was not anything effective that was going to happen in the over-the-counter derivatives area. And I felt as though, because of that, I had done what I could to help protect the public, and there wasn't much left for me to do.
With Born out of the way, the last 2 years of the Clinton administration were a heyday of deregulation. OTC derivatives were off limits. Banks were freed to make riskier investments. Wall Street was largely left to regulate itself.
Again and again during the Clinton administration, you see these examples of the top regulators basically saying the market knows better than us, and we're going to let the market do it.
By 2007, the OTC derivatives market had grown to $595 trillion. That's $595 trillion.
Stocks shot higher, giving the Dow its best day in almost...
The hands-off approach seemed to be working. Wall Street had bet heavily on the real estate boom.
The economy expanded at a robust 4.3% annual.
Those derivatives were at the heart of that strategy.
You know what it feels like? It reminds me of cryptocurrencies. It feels like a rug pull, right? Because and I might be completely wrong on this. I hope not. Because I did not understand anything, if that's true. But it feels like crypto because so with crypto, especially like all the scams that a lot of like content creators were perpetuating, amongst other people, but content creators especially because they had the audience to pull this off. The rug pull, right? Which is a cryptocurrency is like anything else you want to or rather like any other investment vehicle. So you want to put your money in it because in theory it will grow, right? However, with cryptocurrencies, the only reason why it grows is because other people buy them, right? And that's literally it. So with businesses, oh, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. With businesses, oh, see, no, I can't. See, and I was about to rant. But with businesses, the value added, hello, we are watching a PBS old documentary on the warning that the Bill Clinton administration received on the regulation, on the importance of regulation in general. Not really. It's a lot more specific than that. Basically, they hire some libertarian who didn't believe in regulation nor in investigating fraud, apparently. And everyone believes this man. And when someone is saying, like, hey, guys, in the stock market, yeah, you live on some other plat as well? Yes, I am. Sorry. Just for everyone, for context, I am multi-streaming always. I need to put that somewhere. I need to do a lot of things. But yes, I'm multi-streaming across all 3 platforms. So I am on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. I hope that's not like against the rules anymore, because not that anyone would care. But this does remind me, they're talking about derivatives, of over-the-counter derivatives. And it's interesting and also a little bit frustrating because we had a very accomplished economist. I don't remember what she who gave the warning of like, hey, there is trillions of dollars in transactions here in this market. And no one is like, there's no regulation, there's no supervision. We don't know anything about what's happening. This is like not a good thing. And we have hearings in Congress, and you had other people who were more respected, and who had more political power, who basically were like, no, she is wrong. The market can self-regulate. And Congress listened, and it did not go well.
Derivatives, insuring derivatives, which are based on derivatives, it's almost an Alice in Wonderland kind of profitability.
So at this point, not only are they not regulating, they have actively decided to not regulate. And so I'm just saying, I was going to go on a small rant about how it reminds me of cryptocurrencies, because basically, there is no value actually being added, but rather it is just like money's purely based on transaction, which is like similar to like the rug pulls, right? Where you get people to, well, here it's just fraud, because I'm pretty sure they're just lying about the value of things, and just like very intentionally, like giving themselves contracts that will very obviously benefit them with no like actual like there is no equal trade of value, which is what cryptocurrency is, right? There is no trade at all. You're just putting in money and then hoping you pull it out before other people do.
What, in fact, you essentially had was a big creaking time bomb that needed some sort of event to disrupt all of the assumptions everyone had.
The stock market dropped by hundreds of points right from the open.
Banking industry are plunging.
Rate in America has now soared.
The Dow
The time bomb exploded almost exactly 10 years after the collapse of LTCM.
Investors were shaken by Lehman's bankruptcy filing and what was essentially a
You had the most raw panic the economy and the financial markets had seen since the 1930s. It was ugly, it was broad-based, it was bringing huge institutions to their knees, and a lot of that was tied into derivatives.
They are hidden like landmines in a battlefield, and nobody wants to give money to anybody else because they don't know.
AIG plunging. At one point, they were down 70%.
AIG can't raise $20 billion. They'll have to announce bankruptcy tonight.
It was my worst nightmare coming true. Nobody really knew what was going on in the market. The toxic assets of many of our biggest banks are over-the-counter derivatives and caused the economic downturn that made us lose our savings, lose our jobs, lose our homes. And it was very frightening.
I think to understand.
It really must be like one of those, like, the world is ending events. You know, like the that make you feel like, oh, we're never going to recover from this. It would be very scary.
And the crisis, you have to understand that it had many, many factors that contributed to it. But it's absolutely clear to me that if we had restricted the derivatives, some of the major problems would have been avoided.
Had Brooks Lee Bourne been enfranchised, had Brooks Lee Bourne been listened to, had Brooks Lee Bourne been made part of the process, would that have had a different ending for what subsequently happened in the derivatives market? Certainly.
In the aftermath, one former member of the working group has had a change of heart about Brooks Lee Bourne.
I've come to know her as one of the most capable, dedicated, intelligent.
You know, I actually did laugh, but I just remembered that this was filmed, I think this aired. It must have been filmed either that same year or at most like the year after the situation happened, so.
And committed public servants that I have ever come to know. I wish I knew her better in Washington. I could have done much better. I could have made a difference.
And the others? Robert Rubin left government to join top management at Citibank. The taxpayers have pledged more than $100 billion to keep Citi afloat. Rubin's former deputies Larry Summers and Timothy Geithner have become President Barack Obama's chief financial advisors.
Huh.
Neither Rubin nor his former deputy Larry Summers would speak with Frontline about what happened to Brooks Lee Bourne. And Rubin's other top deputy, Gary Gensler, now holds Brooks Lee Bourne's former post at the CFTC. It still lacks authority to regulate OTC derivatives. Alan Greenspan retired from the Federal Reserve just before the crisis hit in 2006.
Coincidence? I think not.
Last year, he once again appeared before the Congress.
You see Greenspan at the hearing table after the collapse, and you see a crushed man, really.
He said that the premise that you could trust markets to regulate themselves was misplaced.
You don't say.
You have been a staunch advocate for letting markets regulate themselves. And my question for you is
God,
simple.
see, honestly, this is why we shouldn't allow, like, such old people in Congress either, because when they mess up, you just feel bad. You just feel bad. I mean, it's like, let Grandpa go. Maybe even great-grandpa. It's just, it's not even...
I found a flaw, but I've been very distressed by that fact.
You found a flaw in the reality.
Flaw in the model that I perceived is the critical functioning structure that defines how the world works, so to speak.
In other words, you found that your view of the world, your ideology was not right.
Precisely. No, that's precisely the reason I was shocked, because I've been going for 40 years or more with very considerable evidence that it was working exceptionally well.
After almost 2 decades of public service, he realizes that the economic philosophy that he had pushed so hard, resisting regulation of derivatives, he realized that there were some fundamental flaws in that whole philosophy.
It was a pretty incredible moment that after a lifetime of faith in a certain way the world worked, that Greenspan would say, I was wrong.
It struck me as someone admitting that the core belief that had animated, basically a 20-year, 18-year career as Fed chief was wrong. It's stunning, but it doesn't undo the damage.
I don't think it's stunning. I just think it's sad.
Visits New York today to deliver a major address to Wall Street.
Last month, the president spoke on Wall Street.
We will not go back to the days of reckless behavior and unchecked excess that was at the heart of this crisis.
Right now, he is deciding how hard to push to regulate the OTC derivative market.
We've got to close the loopholes that were at the heart of the crisis. Where there were gaps in the rules, regulators lacked the authority to take action.
The president's point man, Larry Summers, now says he supports strong regulation of over-the-counter derivatives. And Treasury has released a proposal outlining some of the same ideas Bourne had 11 years ago. But the financial lobby is still against those ideas and is lobbying hard at the White House and in Congress. The new regulations are stalled.
I was very hopeful that in the aftermath of the crisis, we could see what had gone wrong and say, let's fix it. But it may be that we are passing that critical moment, and in that case, the necessary reforms will be just much more difficult to come by.
As for Brooksley Bourne, without new regulations, she's offering another warning.
I think we will have continuing danger from these markets, and that we will have repeats of the financial crisis. May differ in details, but there will be significant financial downturns and disasters attributed to this regulatory gap over and over until we learn from experience.
Silly goose, we don't learn from experience. Just point fingers and blame people we don't like. And that's politics. Alright, so that was interesting. I actually really enjoyed that. A big part of the fun of these types of videos is I learn a lot. And, well, I know very little, so it's not hard. But that is enough of like politics / economics things, because it's a lot. I have learned enough for today. Now we will do something sillier. Let's watch something fun. Anything good out there to watch, to react to? I'm almost done with the scarf, so let me... I am not. Is there the zombie debts making Wall Street rich? I think I'm good. A once-in-a-lifetime crash is coming. 3 warning signs. I'm good, Mark Tilbury. I'd rather not know. That's not true, but I just am. Like I said, I'm over it for right now. God, where's the fun things? My home pages look so sad because I watch so much politics and news. Did you guys hear about the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's gonna be like a concert thing. You know what? I'm actually jealous because if it's like a concert thing, there has to be a live audience. But these people have already been invited. It's already been filmed. It's already been edited, and I was just not one of them, and that makes me sad. Oh Jesus, I'm starting to get sleepy, but it's only gonna be 1 o'clock. Oh, you know what's a fun one? Kitchen Nightmares. Those are fun to watch. Kitchen Nightmares. And I think they have them here on YouTube. Yeah. Smart. Oh, this might just be... No, yeah, full episode. Fantastic. Let's watch... I guess we'll just... Oh god, that looks terrible. Just randomly choose, because I don't know how to choose otherwise. Let's do this one because it has some molcajete in it.
University City, Pennsylvania. Nestled in the heart of West Philadelphia, this thriving neighborhood is home to 2 major universities, and smack in the middle is Zocalo, an authentic Mexican restaurant run by longtime employees turned owners, Greg Russell and his wife, Mary.
I've actually already seen it. Never mind. Damn it. That's unfortunate. You know what? We'll move over. We'll do something. I don't know. What's going on in... You know what I need to watch still? I still need to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. I'd like to do that. It was the 20th anniversary of Supernatural. God, it's a... Was it? Huh. Oh, this was last year, technically, because it was 5 months ago. I was thinking, I was like, I thought that was in 2005 that it started. Yeah. So that makes sense. Percy Jackson, when does the next season come out? That'll be fun. Not the next season. No, yeah, it is the next season. Oh, that's so exciting. Trying to... Okay, we're gonna move over to some gaming. So, it's gonna be very, very different. Very different than what we were just doing. So thank you so much to anyone who has checked it out, but we will now be doing I mean, you're more than welcome to stay, but it might be a little bit too different for some of you. So let me change real quickly all of my stream details so that we are accurate. But we're going to be playing Fall Guys because it's really fun, and it's also like, it's not a big deal. So it's like not low effort because I gotta try. where do I change on YouTube the I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm excited. I haven't played in a while, so I will be terrible, but okay, if you haven't seen, my profile says my profile is a disclaimer. Unironically, it says I suck at video games, but I do have fun, and so that's exactly what you can expect from me right now. So, fair warning. Okay, so I think everything should have been updated. And now let me just make sure you guys can also see. There we are. All right. I did mute the music, but I'll because I generally don't like to watch things with music, but I will go ahead and change that to improve the vibes. Audio. Oh, wait, no, the music is right there. Why couldn't we hear it before? That's so weird. Oh, I guess because I wasn't in the window. All right. We will play squats because I'm going to be terrible, so I'm going to need people to carry me. I am just gonna check real quick that to make sure that we have yeah okay, yeah, everything is accurate. All right, okay, I can do this one easy. I'm probably gonna finish like 12th. Just so I need to disclose. I'm scared I'm going to be judged for being bad at easy games. I'll be honest. Okay. Okay, so I was kind of lucky because I was not around anyone there. So it definitely made it easy. Oh no. Okay. 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 Nice. Oh, I have. Oh, that's excellent timing. That's so satisfying. Oh no 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 no. Yes yes. Okay, honestly, that was impressive. Oh, that was so impressive. I literally got twice as many points as I thought I would. What can I say? I've got great luck. There's no way. There's no way we're in 7th? How is that possible? How is that possible? Oh my god. That was... maybe I will have to carry. A game I am looking forward to. Oh, I should be playing tomorrow. Not on stream though, but I should be playing tomorrow hopefully. Is Overwatch. I don't play usually any shooters because I'm scared to play by myself because I know I'm gonna suck. And so, but I recently started playing with a friend, and so if I get comfortable enough in that, I'd be happy to stream it. So that'd be cool. Yeah, I don't want to do too many video games on, like, it won't be a lot of the content. Ooh, totally did not see that. Okay, I don't like these. Oh no, oh my god, okay. Nope. I jumped too far and I jumped onto the one that was going down. Like a silly little goose. Thank God those came up because I did not have a plan. Oh, yeah. Nope, nope. I thought there was a gap. That was so close. Jesus. Patience is a virtue that I do not have. Come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. Okay. Did I? No, I did not. You know what? If this one, if we lose, that's totally fair. That's my fault. I don't like this map. That's what I've decided. Yeah, I don't like this map. It sucks. Who made it? Where am I? Jesus. It's a lot of waiting, and it's not fun. I like the ones where you just have to rush. Oh, that's how that works. I did not know that would... That's mean. That's... Oh, okay, okay. At least I made it. At least I made it. I did not think this through. I did not think this through. I forgot to pay attention to the arrows. Okay, that's fine. 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 I might actually... Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I might actually be able to finish. No, 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 it wasn't. Oh, that one was painful. And I qualified. Okay, got it. So it doesn't even matter how I try, because I'm completely dependent on my team anyway. Yeah, I like the ones where you can just like rush it. That's just a lot more my nature. Ugh. Avoid falling off the hoverboard and reach the finish. Ugh. See? This isn't ones where you can rush it. Okay. Okay. How far do you have to get? Oh, I'm nervous. Okay. Okay, so we just have to be very careful. Be in the center so that we can move. 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 Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so we have to be careful to not get caught up in between them. Okay. Okay, I see. Interesting. Oh no. God, this is a lot to pay attention to. I hate that you bounce. I hate that you bounce off of people. It makes this so much more stressful than it's gotta be. Just saying. Oh no, those things move. Oh, I know. I know, I know, I know. Where is it? Where? just I panicked. I totally panicked. Oh god. Yeah. Oh, do people have to make it to the finish line? Damn. It would have been better if this was like a time thing. Okay, but oh no. Only one person from my team is left. We'll see if he makes it. Because there's only 5 people left, right? That's it. Yeah, it's only this little group here. So depending on how, like, from what teams they are, we might make it, actually. That's so funny. Let's follow my teammate. Oof, that was close. Good job, buddy. You're doing an incredible job. I think we might actually make it. Okay, the top 4 qualify. I think that's it. Wait, what if no one makes it? What happens then? Oh, the timer ran out, but our team was alive, so good job. Our little cake house friend totally saved us there. Oh great, now we get the finals. Can't be worse than what we just did. Okay, floor pieces fall away temporarily. When you stand on them, keep moving and survive longest to win the crown. Okay, our goal is to, at the very least, if we're gonna fall, we take one down with us. That is the game plan. I don't know how successful we'll be, but that can be the goal for now. Okay, so we want to run this way to get out of our teammates' way. We want to block off. Okay, we want to be mindful. Oh no, one of our teammates already fell. Okay, that's fine. You keep going in that way. I'm gonna head off this way. No, no! You son of a... He got me. I was not expecting them to grab me. They played dirty. It's... Oh, good. Someone else. Okay, he's gonna have to carry us. He's the last one alive again. Yeah, he's gotta be much more intentional about it. Oh no. That was a good try, buddy. They tried. They did a great job. Whatever. At least we made it to the finals that time. Let's run it again. Like, how much do people even play this game? I mean, is it like the same people? Is it like a cult thing? Sorry, I meant that as in like a cult favorite. As in like the people who play this game really, really love this game and play it all the time. But it's not something that people just casually indulge in. Okay, I once again do not like. Oh my god, I'm so bad at games. Maybe I probably shouldn't even try. Can't see. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. I just sorry, I cannot see. give me like a minute. I swear I can win and reach the finish line this time. 30 more seconds. 30 more. Okay, 45. Hello. No, okay, I did the same exact thing, except this time I actually made it. I feel like I rush it, and I take jumps that are not necessarily jumpable. See, I got a second chance and I messed it up. And now everyone is caught up. But this time we're not gonna rush it. It's because I can't gauge the distance. I rushed it again. Okay, so there's like at least one more. Like, there it is. Okay. Jesus. Oh, that was terrible. Hello. Thank you so much for the follow, Luna. We are playing a little bit of Fall Guys. Not well, but we are playing. We qualified. That's good enough for me. Where am I from? As in, like, ethnically? Because I'm from America. Unless you mean, like, what's my race? In which case, I am Mexican. Yes. I know. I'm alive at, like, kind of crazy times, so, yeah. These are not American hours. Actually, that's not true. Like, because I'm in Central Standard Time, and there's like I think Eastern is 2 hours. Oh wait, no, I think they're 2 hours ahead of us. By the way, do you stream daily? Oh, no, I do not. No, that's That's for people who have interesting things to do. I'm trying to see what I like to do on stream. And so, okay, I did not pay attention at all. I need to follow my squad. Squad, guys. Bananas? Okay, bananas it is. What do I like to eat? So, are you familiar with quesadillas? If you don't mind, can I ask you something? You can ask. Absolutely, you're welcome to. Okay, I have 4 bananas. 4 bananas. 1, 2, 3. Okay. If it's bananas, I know what it'll be, but that's it. I think there's like 2 blackberries, and that's as much information as I collected. 3. No, that was not the bananas. Guys, what was it? Guys? Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Okay, we're still... oh, nice. We're still second now. And I think we're going to stay pretty comfortably in second. Don't you think you should enhance your account? Okay. If... Jesus. Okay, whatever. Just give me a quick second. Okay. Oh, see, my team's totally got it. They totally got it. I will be carried again. Fantastic. See, distracting me from the game. For what? For what? I like the frog one. That's fun. Oh, I love the chicken one. I love the one where you chase the chickens. They're so cute. If there's a plushie out there, I need it. Or like a crochet pattern, I will also take it. They're just so adorable. And it's so funny that you just run around trying to hug them. I find it very amusing. I have done this one before. I don't know how... I think I just need to play more. It is the thing. I'm super out of practice. I do not play this game very much at all. Nope. Totally counted. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Oh. Nice. Easy. Okay. Not too bad. I don't think I hit anything. Okay. Just casually gonna get... Nope. Nope. Casually gonna get bumped out of existence. Copy, copy. Okay, just let me down, let me down. You know, it's hard to remember how much you... No. Oh, that's so annoying. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Mildly annoying, but doable. You know what? I think I chose a pretty simple trajectory. I think it definitely could have been worse. Those jumps make me so nervous. Okay. No. Oh, okay, good. Great. Fantastic. I did not think I was doing very well. No, sorry, the opposite. I thought I was doing well, and I was not. Fortunately, my team pulled through. We'll play maybe like another one after this one. Oh, this is a tail one. Okay, the tail one is kind of fun. I like the chicken one more because that's a lot cuter, but the tail one can be okay. And my team seems to be good. So they got it. I don't like it when it's like the... Well, as at least I don't have it. That's the good thing. Oh, their team has it. Okay, we're gonna try to cut him off. Cut him off. Cut him off. Cut him off. It's... I'm confused. Isn't there only 2 teams? How many teams are there? Oh no, I thought it was only 2 teams. Can't see anything. Who's got it? Oh. I'm so confused. Who's got it? It's so hard to track. Oh. Okay. He's totally going. I got it. Nope. They got it. They got it back. They got it back. No, so I don't know who's got it anymore. It's so hard to track. They really should have done something a little bit more visible. Come on, guys. It's basically... Who has it? Guys? Oh, it's this guy. Well, there's no way. There's no way. Oh, that's so rude. He is either cheating or there's a glitch that only he knows about. Okay. Guys, try to... Yeah, no, he's totally cheating. Ah, that's so gross. Boo. You won, but did you really? Did you really? I'm reporting that guy. Who was it? Frick, I should have paid attention. Oh, I have... I'm streaming. I can check the VOD. Yeah, we're reporting that guy. We don't like cheaters in this stream. How do I check the VOD, guys? I guess I'll go to... Give me 2 seconds. I'm being petty. No, it's not petty. He cheated. That's against the rules. He should be. Okay, give me just 30 seconds. Close that. Okay, we have to be a lot. It is... Oh no, can I not? Gee, maybe I'm too late. I'm trying to see. Okay, it was the guy with the red thing. Can I not? Shoot. Oh no, I'm too late. I didn't know I had a time constraint. Should I not be able to still do this? Options, support. Ooh. Oh no, that's... Oh, okay. And now it's just too much work. Damn it. Okay, we'll play one more and hope that we see this guy again. Ah, oh, that's so annoying. Okay. I can not do this one. That damn swing. Do we see him, guys? Do we... I can't tell. I can't tell if he's on that end. Imagine he's on my team. I'm still reporting him if he's on my team. Just so you guys know. Boom. Is that not the one you want? It's the biggest one. You knew. Oh no. Nice. Okay, guys, we got this. We got this. Was that my own team that grabbed me? Did my eyes deceive me? Just a little jelly beans falling off, which is not funny, but isn't it? Damn it. Yeah. Quick, quick. No. No. Just like teammate and I, we're just chilling. We don't like to rush. As not like it's a race. No, you know what? That's totally what I meant to do. You silly goose, you can't make that jump. Easy. We're like the last ones. Hey, but we made it. Good job, team. Okay, we're gonna look for this guy. Okay, he would have already gone in. We were the last ones, yeah. So, okay. Check the screen. It wasn't like this? I really shouldn't have posted it. No, it was red. It wasn't black with red, it was red. Damn, okay, so he wasn't in our game. Lucky him. Avoid the moving walls. I think that's fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. This one's scary because once you're down and out. But is this a time one? Survive to score points. Yes, okay. So that kind of helps. Okay, so you want to go to the center because everything, like both extremes, will be at equal distance. It's a lot easier to move. You just have to be careful because people will grab, will push. And also, you're like bumping along everyone. Get ready to move, get ready to move. Okay. Get ready to move. Someone is asking to piggyback. Oh, there's no way this person. There was another gap there. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. You want to be near the front so that you don't get trapped, but you also can't be too near the front. Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. That was so close. That was so close. I totally thought I was dead. I was like, it's over, guys. It's over. Oh my god, how is no one dying? Everyone is in first, which means no one has died. That's not good. Because that means I was very close to being the first one down. Okay. Just pick a side. Just pick a side. Don't think too much about it. Just pick a side. And run. Oh, great, great, great. We're entering the jumping ones. Okay, I need a little bit lower of an angle to make sure I time it. Okay. 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 Guys, I'm scared. Guys, no one is dying. People need to die. People need to die. I'm gonna die, not me. Not me. Oh no. Okay. Like, nice. They're at the end. So many of us got. Like, it was just a matter of luck at that point. Gosh. Oh, my shoulder hurts. Okay. Score goals by getting balls into the opposing team's goal. Work together to get the win. Is this, I need to pay attention to how many teams there are, because I'm not. Maybe it's 2 different matches with 4 teams. I think that might be... Oh, okay. It's 2 teams, but it's 2 teams and the teams per team. Got it. Anyways. Okay. Oh no, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Oh, why is it so like... Why is it so like this? Why did we have to have the whole anti-gravity thing? That's just not... Okay, we'll focus on this one because we can't focus on them all. And they're playing defense, so... They're playing a lot of defense. Oh no. Oh no. Let's... Okay. Let's go attack this one. We have enough of our team. See, this is why communication is important, guys. Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Our teammates totally got that one. Nice. because we could divide and conquer. Oh, it's so hard to follow. Oh, damn. It's so hard. Oh no, we gotta play defense too. We have a good defense. Okay, guys. Ooh. Oh, come on. Oh, no way. I can't see it. I jumped way too early. I don't know where the other ball is. No, I'm cute. Okay, you know what? I'm getting away because I'm clearly just not doing a good job. Oh, no. Guys, defense? Nice. Okay, we just have to, not easy, we win. Nice. I did absolutely nothing. But I kept morale high. Nice. Okay. I think this will be the last game I play. First team to get completely jinxed or eliminated. I don't like this one. This is so high stakes because there's so much pressure on you. When you get caught, grab the opposing team to jinx them. I think I want to be a jinxer because that's a lot. Yes, that's a lot more fun. I actually have no idea if that's me or not. Wait, no, I don't want to be the one jinxing. Oh no, I am. Oh no, I'm not. Jesus. Okay, run away from yellow, from that yellow specifically, and let's grab other yellows to help our teammate. The big irony that if, like, okay, we have to be careful because that guy is, like, we just really mostly have to stay away. I don't know where the jinxer is. Trying to grab this guy for my teammate while also trying to be careful. Oh shit, sorry guys. I know, I don't want to be the last one, guys. I don't want to be the last teammate. Okay, we're gonna stay over here because, okay, we need to distribute risk. I know. Ahí vienen. Ahí vienen. Oh no. Immediately got that freaking turn. I was the last one. No wonder. So bad. I mean, good for them. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. It was fun, and now it's over. I think I won one. And that's solid. That's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. It is 1:30. I think we can call it there. Oh, 15 years ago, Modern Family kids interview Modern Family parents. That's so sweet. But also, why is it being recommended? It's 15 years old. Why are all of these videos so old? Do they not do anything interesting? No, yeah, they do. I guess I just scrolled far down enough. That's fair. All right. See, I need to pay attention to, like, the details. I'll be working on the behind the scenes of the streaming. I want to add chat onto the screen. I want to, Masai though, because there's just like a bunch of bots. So maybe not. But the fact that I do multi-stream should be added onto that so that people know. So when I'm like apparently talking to myself, I am actually not. And they know that. That way. But that will be for me to do tomorrow. I do plan on streaming tomorrow, and I will start a lot earlier than I did today. I do need to line up some things to do for then. We'll see, but it will probably start, I want to say, Oh, I can report it. Oh. Sorry. I almost pressed the wrong button. But I'll probably start around like 7 p.m. Central Time, so you can just easily put that into Google, and it'll do the conversion for you. But we'll watch some more interesting things. Maybe we'll browse Reddit. I do need to check really quickly if that's allowed, because I want to be careful. What if I get banned? But that'll be something fun to do as well. Maybe a little bit more gaming. Maybe we'll do some Minecraft tomorrow, so that can happen as well. And yeah, I think that is pretty good. So for now, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for sticking around as much as you did. I appreciate it. If you want to catch any other streams, then please feel free to follow on any of the platforms. Once again, I do multi-streams, so whichever platform is of your preference, I'm probably there. Just kidding, I'm only on 3. But how many are there? Like, Facebook Live died like 10 years ago. No, but it was definitely like at least 5. But I am on YouTube and Twitch and Kick, so I, whatever fancies. Whatever makes your fancy, whatever. There's a phrase there that I'm trying to remember, but I can't. Regardless, once again, thank you so much. I will see you next time. A nice chill stream. I still have a good hour to be able to chill and then eventually go to sleep. I will move that random stepladder from behind me for the next stream, so look forward to that, I guess. It's just, I have nowhere else to put it. I have a small apartment, okay, and I just randomly need it at times. And Jesus, and I'm in a corner, aren't I? Oh, you know what we could also do? I have some paint by numbers and some more cross stitching to do, so maybe you can also do a little bit of that. I do have that puzzle that I said that I could also do, so we have options, but of course we would be doing this while doing something else, so we'll definitely think of something. I will stop rambling now, and I'll let you go. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the follows, all the watch time that anyone was ever kind, all the interactions in chat. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a good night. I hope you have a good morning, probably, because some of you are watching this and it's like 8 a.m. I hope you have a good day, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. So good night, goodbye. I will see you soon.